Hey Mummies Life fans, I'm Spicy, and here we are with yet another Inside the Tomb video. Since last time I asked you guys to decide which character the next video in the series should be about, most of you decided it should be for the great wizard, scribe, and brain of the group, Rath. Before we get started however, I'd appreciate if you liked the video and subscribed, since this type of content takes a long time for me to make, and I'd appreciate your support. And without further ado, here's Inside the Tomb, Rath. Like with many other characters, Rath's conception began in 1996. It's evident through his original concept art that there weren't many major changes that influenced his final design, outside of a few minor details. Rath was designed to appear tall and slender in comparison to the other mummies, and green was chosen as his color. For his armor design, Rath's armor was based on a cobra, with a long golden tail wrapping his body, and like Ja-Kal's armor design, was most likely inspired by the serpent guard designs in Stargate. His human design features elements from his armor design, most notably his chestplate, which now partially covers his chest. In animation, Rath's facial expressions were instructed to be as sharp and direct as possible to show his intelligence and sophisticated personality. As for his voice, Scott McNeil was chosen for the role, known for his variety in range of voices, having worked on shows such as Dragon Ball, Captain N, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and too many other shows to list here. Rath is the most cryptic of the mummies, and not much is known about his younger years. It could be assumed that given his mannerisms and general high society demeanor, that he came from a more financially stable family, which also lines up with his general love for reading, knowledge of a multitude of subjects, and teaching, practices that weren't so common in ancient Egypt. Rath was a great magic teacher and would form a complicated relationship with one of his students, Chantra. Chantra, however, would turn on Rath after he was called by the pharaoh to teach his own son, Prince Rapses, and to hesitantly abandon his other students in order to strictly focus on him. Rath claimed that he didn't have much left to teach her anyway, which greatly angered Chantra, saying he will die alone in the husk of the man he was, and claiming her revenge.
You'll pay for this, Rath. Someday you'll pay.
Ironically, she would be right. Rath would be Prince Rapses' teacher, despite the young priest not really showing much care for his teachings. When Scarab kidnapped the boy prince in order to steal his spirit, Rath, alongside the other guardians, would try and save their prince, but would fall fighting Scarab's Sapti army and be mummified in order to protect the reincarnation of Rapses in the future. And that time would come in 997, when he and the other guardians would be brought to San Francisco in order to protect Presley Carnovan and the reincarnation of Rapses.
So let me get this straight. You're supposed to guard the pharaoh's son even though you're like mummies. So if I'm in trouble, I mean when Rapses is in trouble, you call on Ra and whoever, and they give you the power to kick butt, right?
But why in the name of Ra would anyone want to kick Tut?
Rath's new duties lined with teaching Presley stuff he couldn't learn in school, such as ancient Egyptian magic and wisdom, in order to help him become a good pharaoh. Now suddenly summoned into the future, Rath would maintain a partial ignorance to his surroundings, claiming that times used to be better back during his own time, a belief stemming from his lack of general knowledge that came with 3,000 years of technological and societal change.
What is a cell phone?
It's a, you wouldn't understand.
Rath is probably the most versed of the mummies when it comes to his skills. His primary skill, being his heightened intelligence, allows him to come up with ideas and plans on how to take down certain threats. Adding to that is his collection of books and spells, which he uses on occasion in order to determine the functions of a threat. Rath is a great wielder of magic, once again knowing a variety of different spells and potions that usually help in dissolving a situation. Rath is also a great engineer, having a surprising understanding of modern day technology, and usually combining it with magic to create new inventions and vehicles, such as the Hot Rod. Rath also knows Jitsu, being able to stand on his own when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, although admittedly not as well as his fellow teammates. When mummified, Rath gained the ability to alter his appearance into a monstrous-like form called Frightside, which he used to scare off his opponents, giving him the characteristics of a snake, and in 2 occasions even turning his entire head into that of a cobra. Like the other mummies, he can also use his bandages to swing around in, for lack of a better term, a Spider-Man-like fashion. Rath can also power up using his Cobra amulet, giving him Cobra-shaped armor that enhances his strength and durability. In his Cobra form, Rath gains a giant sword, which is extremely sharp and is able to turn into a snake when used by other characters. Rath's most interesting feature in his armored form is his snake tail, which he used to swing around, tackle his opponents, or even constrict them, showing independent control. Finally, although tied more into his general magic knowledge, Rath is able to fire energy beams and blasts from his hands. Rath and Ja-Kal's transformation sequences are the only ones featuring animals in them. Interestingly, however, Rath's sequence has an eastern dragon emerging from his body instead of a cobra. Rath is the only character shown to use their fight side ability while in armored form, turning his head into a giant golden cobra head. It's not known who Rath's patron god is. Although Bastet is shown to be Nefertina's, and Horus and Knumar mention Ja-Kal's and Armon's figure packaging, Rath is the only main mummy with an unknown patron god. Possible candidates include Wadjet, aka the little cobra seen on pharaoh hats, René Tutet, Meriteger, or this adorable little guy called Gao. Another possible but highly unlikely deity could also be Apep. Rath is the only mummy in the series to have part of his armor still present while unpowered, that being the gauntlet on his right arm. Though the reasons for this are unknown, a possible theory is that it serves as a further connection with him and magic. Rath has multiple figures on the toy line. He has a standard figure, complete with a golden armor and sword, and a fright side figure where his body splits open to reveal a small snake inside, as a reference to him morphing his face into a snake in the series. Rath was also planned to have a second fright side figure that performed that exact function, turning his head into a snake and revealing his ribcage, but that got cancelled. And that is all we have for Rath. What do you think of him? Do you like his powers and abilities? Would you change or add anything about his character or story? Let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. We recently passed 300,000 views and I couldn't be more thankful. Thank you so much, and guys, keep kicking it out.